Hello, my name is Sebastian Veit. I'm part of the customer support team for SPFH. In this video I want to show you how to remove our new Ultimate KP out of the machine and to prepare it for winter storage. For the video we removed the wheel and the panels for better visibility. Usually it's not needed to remove those for KP, deinstallation or installation. Before working on the machine, please take care about your personal protective equipment. Now we will start to remove the KP out of the machine. For that, locate your service rack beside the machine. This can be used for F8 and F9 in combination with a European standard wood pallet. Before removing or installing the KP, ensure the machine is parked on a level ground. Now we will remove the KP belt, therefore it's needed to push the tensioner pulley back. Then we can remove the belt from the blower pulley, from the KP pulleys, from the idler pulley. Now we will remove the grease line and the electrical connectors for the motor and the temperature sensor. Plug the fitting at the KP again and connect the grease line to the machine again. We store the grease line here at the fitting. Also here, screw the two plugs together to avoid dust intrusion. Make sure the return line is properly connected. Now we store the KP harness here on the holder. Now we will lose the two fixation points. To get a KP out, we have different possibilities. One possibility is here to use the hex head with a ratchet. Another possibility is to push KP in by hand, or if the KP is a bit stuck, we can also use the fixation bolts as a puller. Therefore, it is needed to install the puller in this location here. Usually for installation it's installed here. For deinstallation as a puller, install it here. If the KP would be stuck, install it like this. Use a ratchet to get the KP out. Finally, I pull the KP back. Now we bring the KP winch in its position to get the KP out. And we install the remote control for the KP winch. Now we bring the KP winch in its position. Here it is needed to secure the KP winch with this bracket to make sure the winch is above the KP. Now we attach the winch to the KP and we lift the KP. As soon the KP is lifted, we can again remove this bracket here to secure the position. Now we swing the KP out of the machine. Now we store the KP on the KP rack. If the KP is in this position, remove the two water drain plugs and pre-loose those two screws. In this position we have a better access to those bolts. As soon the KP is in this position, we will remove the other two water drain plugs, the cover here and the scraper. We start with the drain plugs. Next step is to remove the cover. install the screws back to the panel, and we store it on the KP rack. Now we remove the scraper. Now we will open the KP. Therefore, we change the position to be able to use the forklift to open it. If the KP is very dirty, use compressurized air to clean it up front. First step to open the KP is to open the two bolts here. Therefore, we have a slot in the frame to have access for the spanner. As soon as the bolt is removed, store it on the KP rack. At the other side, the same. Also store this bolt at the KP rack. Next step is to loose the upper bolt. Be careful with the self-locking washers. They need to be in this direction. Just loose the lower bolt a bit to be able to fold the KP. Those bolts can be also stored at the KP rack. Now we will open the KP. At the Ultimate KP, it's not needed to remove any grease line or harness connectors to open it. You can either use a forklift to open the KP or a roof crane. Here we connect the strap to this bracket. The next step is to remove the two bolts at the bearing housing on both sides. Now we can do the second folding. The bolts can be also stored at the KP rack. Now we are ready to wash the KP with a power washer. Now we will clean the KP with a hot water power washer. Be careful with the sensor and the connectors to do not damage those while washing. Before washing, pre-grease the KP to avoid water intrusion in the bearings. If the KP is washed, also after washing, grease the KP again and make sure that the drain holes are free and the water can come out at both rolls. Now we let the KP dry overnight. Each Ultimate KP gets delivered with a KP roll wear gauge for the two teeth combinations and a feeler gauge to check the KP gap. Check both KP rolls visual for wear. You can also use the special tool. At the special tool is a line. If the tip of the roll teeth would be underneath, that would mean the KP roll is totally worn out. Also check the KP wear liners for any cracks or if they are worn out. If they are worn out, replace the parts. Remove the bulb seals at the 3 positions. As you can see, after 1 season the bulb seals are often damaged and we recommend to replace those each year. Now we will remove the old sealant from the KP sidewalls to be able to apply later on new sealant. Check the harness and the grease lines for any damage everywhere on the KP. Now we can install the scraper back to the KP. Now we will adjust the gap between the scraper and the roll. Therefore we use our feeler gauge, which is attached to the KP. The gap should be between 1 mm to 2 mm. We use 1.5. To measure the gap, it is needed to be aligned with the bolt here, because the diameter at the end of the KP roll is a bit smaller to compensate the wear. Now we check it on both sides. If the gap is adjusted, we can tighten the screws with the right torque. After the right torque is applied, check again if the gap is still the same. Check the roll for rust. If there is any rust, use a steel brush and clean the roll. After cleaning the KP roll with the steel brush, remove the rust with pressurized air. This needs to be done on both rolls. If the rolls are clean, for example, use oil grease mix to protect the rolls during the winter against rust or corrosion. All the work which we did now needs to be directly done after season or as soon as possible to protect the rolls against rust and to increase the lifetime of the rolls, because rust would damage the coating of the roll and would lower the lifetime. Now we will apply the sealing to the KP sidewalls. In this case we use Terrozone, or you can also use any other silicone. It is needed to apply the Terrozone in this area. And also here. This is important because later on crop juice could come out here. At the other frame side, we advise to apply some grease to make it easier at the next opening. Otherwise, the Terrozone and the frame would be glued together and would be harder to open the KP. Now we close the KP and install the 4 bolts at the bearing housings. Use a torque wrench to apply the right torque. Now we do the last step of closing. Now we can remove the bolts again from the service rack. And we install first all bolts. Now we will apply the right torque. Now we will check the zero gap adjustment of the KP. Therefore we use the special tool and we have to close the KP completely. So we can use the feeler gauge again. The zero gap should be between 0.3 or 0.5 millimeter. And it's important to check both sides to have a parallel gap. Also here, check the gap around 70 millimeters away from the outer side. Here we have more than 0.5 millimeter. That means we have to readjust the zero gap. It is needed to remove the lock for the adjustment screw. This needs to be done on both sides. Next step is to loose the counter nut. Now we can start to adjust the gap. To adjust the zero gap, we need to turn the lower hex head. So now we have a gap of 0.5 millimeter adjusted on this side. And we also adjust the other side. Second side is also adjusted to 0.5 millimeter. Now it is needed to apply Loctite to the counter nut. So open the counter nut a bit more to have here a bit gapped to be able to apply Loctite. Now we have to install back the adjustment lock. Now we will adjust the KP gap to 2 millimeter and we'll note it somewhere on the KP or use a paper or something to mark the 2 millimeter. And then you are ready for the next season to install the KP with the 2 millimeter gap, and you can directly calibrate the KP in the machine with the adjusted 2 millimeter. As long as you adjust the KP gap, open the KP to around 3 millimeter and adjust the 2 millimeter gap while closing. If you get lower than 2 millimeter, open the KP again. That is important to get a play out of the spindle and would not change the gap later on in the machine after the calibration. So after adjusting the KP gap to 2 millimeter, we can also adjust the mechanical scale to 2 millimeter. Therefore, just open the two bolts, line the groove with the 2 millimeter. Now we are on 2 millimeter. Now we will again install the cover here. And also install the drain plugs. Last step is to install the drain plugs. Now we will store the KP on a wooden pallet over winter inside. Now we will install the KP back into the machine. So now we will again install the safety lock to have the KP winch in the right position. Here it is important to find the rail with the rolls. So this roll needs to be at the outer rail. The upper roll needs to be in the inner rail. Disconnect again the safety lock and swing the KP winch out to have more room in the or clearance in the service room. We also can disconnect the remote control. Now we install the two connectors back to the KP. And in this position we can calibrate the KP. Therefore we need to go in the cab. Now we will calibrate the KP Therefore, it's needed to go to the cutter head page. And we have to tell the machine which KP is installed. Here we install the Ultimate KP. And we have an electrical gap adjustment and a bearing temperature monitoring on this KP. Depending on the options of the KP, is it needed also to switch here also to on. Now we see KP is not calibrated. Now we go to our calibrations, kernel processor, and the KP gap is at the moment 2 mm. So we enter 2 mm. Now the KP will open 0.5 mm. And now we have to go back to the KP and check the KP gap with a feeler gauge again. And then we can enter the value here. Now we will check the KP gap with the feeler gauge. Now we are at 2.5 mm and we will enter this value to the display. Now we enter the measured 2.5 mm and the calibration is done. Here you can see the KP gap in the display. After the calibration is done, we can bring the KP in a position and we need to install the fixation bolts. This needs to be done on both sides. Apply the right torque to the fixation bolts. Now we can install the grease line. Make sure the fitting is tight. Now we will install the KP belt. Make sure the tensioner pulley is in front position. We start at the idler pulley. So now check if the belt is on each pulley in the right position and pull the tensioner back and check again if the belt is still in the right position on each roll. As we designed the new Ultimate KP for F8 and F9 series, we transferred all the improvements into the new Retrofit Ultimate KP for 8 and 9000 series. The biggest advantage of the new Ultimate Retrofit KP is the foldable frame concept, which is the same or similar like the F8, F9 concept. And we have also now a temperature monitoring option, a 50% speed differential option, and we increased the roll diameter to 250 mm. That means with this KP you have the possibility to update your 8 or 9000 machine to the next level. Now we will quickly show you how to fold the Retrofit KP. So keep in mind, if you work on the Retrofit KP and you want to open the KP, there are 2 additional bolts which needs to be also removed. If you are interested into the single maintenance steps, like folding the KP to open, how to remove a roll, or how to exchange a bearing, please refer to the F-Series Ultimate KP video.